Alright folks, riddle me this. What do a prince, an old man, and a corpse have in common? No, it's not the start of a morbid joke. These are actually the key players in the incredible, transformative story of how one man went from living in the lap of unimaginable luxury to becoming the Buddha, the awakened one. As the Buddha himself profoundly said, "The mind is everything. What you think, you become." Today, we're not just telling a story. We're embarking on a mind-bending journey into the core of human consciousness. So, grab a cushion, cross your legs, and let's dive into the extraordinary life of Siddhartha Gautama and the mind-blowing events that transformed him from a sheltered, unaware prince into a spiritual superhero, whose insights continue to illuminate millions of lives even today. This is the origin story of a revolution, not of swords, but of the mind. Early life, the bubble-wrapped prince and the king's grand design. Our story kicks off in Lumbini, Nepal, around the 5th or 6th century BCE. Prince Siddhartha Gautama was born into a life of unimaginable privilege, destined for greatness, thanks to his doting dad, King Suddhodana. The king, a figure driven by both paternal love and dynastic ambition, was absolutely determined to keep his beloved son from experiencing even a whisper of suffering. He believed that by shielding Siddhartha from all forms of pain, the prince would never feel the need to renounce his worldly life and thus would fulfill the prophecy of becoming a mighty universal ruler. So, the king basically bubble-wrapped the prince's entire existence, immersing him in every luxury imaginable. Siddhartha's life was a meticulously crafted paradise, a golden cage where he was shielded from the harsh realities of aging, illness, and death. He was surrounded by beauty, pleasure, entertainment, and instant gratification. He married the beautiful Princess Yashodhara and fathered a beloved son, Rahula. His days were filled with sensory delights, silk, honeysuckle, enchanting music, and exotic spices. Every possible human desire was sated. Yet, despite this outwardly perfect existence, a subtle, persistent disquiet began to stir within Siddhartha. A profound curiosity, an unyielding sense of something missing, a nagging question. Is this all there is? This quiet yearning, this subtle dukkha, suffering inherent in conditioned existence, sankhara dukkha, was the first crack in the king's grand design. His mind, though surrounded by pleasure, sought something deeper than fleeting sensations. At the ripe old age of 29, an age often associated with profound self-reflection, Siddhartha decided it was time to pop that meticulously constructed bubble and see what the real world beyond the palace walls truly had to offer. This decision, though born from a deep-seated curiosity, was the first step on his revolutionary path. Buddhist insight. This part of the story vividly illustrates the first noble truth, dukkha. Even in supreme pleasure, suffering, specifically sankhara dukkha, exists due to the impermanence of all things and the inherent unsatisfactoriness of conditioned existence. The king's efforts, driven by avidya, ignorance, and tanha, craving for his son's worldly success, inadvertently created a spiritual void for Siddhartha. Siddhartha's budding curiosity, despite his luxurious life, represents the awakening of prajna, wisdom, a natural yearning for ultimate truth that cannot be suppressed by external conditions. This sets the stage for his eventual renunciation, nekkhamma, not as a rejection of life, but of the attachments that bind one to suffering. The Four Sights, a reality check of epic proportions. And boy, did he get a reality check. On his eye-opening adventures outside the palace, Siddhartha had a front-row seat to the harsh, undeniable truths of life, encounters that would forever alter his perception. These pivotal observations are known as the Four Sights. The elderly man. He met an elderly man, bent with age, his skin wrinkled, teeth missing, and body frail. This vision starkly confronted Siddhartha with the reality of aging, the inevitable decay of youth and strength. The sick person. Next, he saw a sick person, their body ravaged by disease, coughing, sweating, and covered in boils. This revealed the universal vulnerability to illness and physical pain. The corpse, then, perhaps the most impactful. He stumbled upon a funeral procession. Witnessing a corpse, a blunt, undeniable reminder of life's ultimate impermanence and the finality of death. The sights and sounds of the grieving family deeply moved him. The ascetic monk, finally, He encountered a serene ascetic, a wandering holy man who had renounced worldly possessions in search of spiritual truth. This monk's peaceful countenance, despite having nothing, offered a striking contrast to the suffering Siddhartha had just witnessed, hinting at a possible path to transcend it all. These experiences hit Siddhartha like a ton of karma, shattering his rose-tinted glasses and exposing the pervasive nature of dukkha, suffering, in its rawest forms. Dukkha, the suffering of pain itself. Viparinama dukkha, the suffering of change, aging, loss, and sankhara dukkha, the suffering of conditioned existence. His innocent observation led to a profound, soul-shattering realization. There is no point to life. All that happens is that you get old, get ill, and die. Life is just suffering. This was his direct understanding of the first noble truth. Faced with these hard, unavoidable truths, Siddhartha made a decision that would make even the most adventurous among us think twice. At 29, he left behind his plush palace, his gorgeous wife, and his adorable baby boy to become a wandering monk, a solitary seeker on a mission to unlock the secrets of the universe. To find a way out of suffering for all beings. Talk about a spiritual midlife crisis, or perhaps a profound awakening. Buddhist insight. The 4 sights are the catalyst for Siddhartha's great renunciation, Mahabaniskramana. They underscore the universality of dukkha, suffering, and anicca, impermanence. His decision to leave his family, though seemingly harsh, is seen as an act of immense karuna, compassion, for all beings. Recognizing that true liberation required him to first find the root cause of suffering for everyone. This act of nekkhamma, renunciation, signifies the turning away from worldly attachments and the beginning of his sincere spiritual quest, leading him onto the noble eightfold path, particularly right intention, samma sankappa, the path of extremes, seeking beyond and the middle way's first glimmer. For the next 6 long, arduous years, Siddhartha threw himself into the world of extreme asceticism. He was no longer a prince, he was a relentless seeker, pushing his body and mind to the very brink of human endurance. He sought out the most renowned spiritual teachers of his time, hoping to find the elusive key to liberation. First, he studied with Alara Kalama, a master of meditation who taught him how to reach deep states of concentration. Known as the sphere of nothingness, Siddhartha, with his brilliant intellect and intense focus, mastered this in record time. But even in these profound meditative states, he realized that true, ultimate freedom from suffering still eluded him. A subtle longing, a sense of incompleteness, remained. Next, he apprenticed with Uddaka Ramaputta, who guided him to an even more refined, almost indescribable, level of meditation called the sphere of neither perception nor non-perception. This was a state of such subtlety, a consciousness so refined, that it was hard to even articulate. Yet, despite mastering these incredibly advanced techniques and achieving what others considered the pinnacle of spiritual achievement, Siddhartha still felt a gnawing sense that he had not reached the absolute end of the path, the true cessation of suffering. Frustrated but undeterred by the limitations of these established paths, Siddhartha left these teachers and set out on his own. Embracing extreme self-mortification, he pushed himself to the brink of starvation, subjecting his body to intense physical hardships. He believed that by conquering the physical, he could free the spiritual, as he would later teach. To enjoy good health, to bring true happiness to one's family, to bring peace to all, one must first discipline and control one's own mind. But his path was physically self-destructive. He became all skin and bones, a mere shadow of his former self, his body ravaged by extreme hunger and exposure to the elements. At his lowest point, Siddhartha was a mere shadow of his former self, a living skeleton, completely depleted. He had pushed himself to the very edge of human endurance. Yet the ultimate answers he sought still eluded him. It was in this moment of utter desolation, perched on the precipice of death, that a pivotal memory from his childhood surfaced, a memory of naturally falling into a state of deep, effortless meditation under an apple tree, a state of profound peace and clarity, far removed from any forceful striving. As he recalled the peace and clarity he had experienced then, a profound realization dawned on him. The path to enlightenment was not to be found in the extremes, neither the indulgence of his princely life, Kamasukhala Kanuyoga, nor the harsh deprivation of asceticism, Atthakilamathanu-yoga. It lay instead in the middle way, Majjhima Patipada, a balanced approach that avoided both excess and self-inflicted torment. Recognizing the body as a vehicle, not an enemy. With this newfound understanding, Siddhartha mustered his last ounce of strength and set out to find a quiet, conducive place to meditate, determined to give his quest for ultimate truth one final, decisive chance. Buddhist insight. Siddhartha's rigorous ascetic period demonstrates his unparalleled virya, right effort, and his exploration of all available spiritual methodologies. However, his eventual disillusionment with both extreme indulgence and extreme asceticism is crucial. This leads him to the discovery of the middle path, a core tenet of Buddhism. This path advocates for moderation and balance, recognizing that both extremes hinder the mind's clarity and lead to suffering. His remembrance of the childhood meditation highlights the importance of effortless awareness and the understanding that true insight arises not from force, but from a balanced, receptive state of mind. The Bodhi tree, the ultimate battle and the dawn of enlightenment. Siddhartha sought refuge beneath a majestic fig tree, now revered as the Bodhi tree, tree of awakening. Here, he made an unwavering vow: he would not arise from this position. He would not break his meditation until he had achieved his ultimate goal, complete and perfect enlightenment, the final cessation of all suffering. This was his last, absolute commitment. As Siddhartha delved deeper into his meditation, pushing the very boundaries of his consciousness, he was confronted by Mara, the evil one, the lord of illusion and temptation. Mara is not just a mythical demon, he is the profound symbolic representation of all the defilements, distractions, and inner obstacles that plague the human mind, are greed, lobha, hatred, dosa, ignorance, moha, jealousy, doubt, and all the other poisons that bind us to the relentless cycle of unhappiness and grief. Mara summoned his vast armies of demonic sons and alluring daughters, manifestations of every human defilement and temptation. Look, all of you, Mara roared. Siddhartha is seated in meditation. If he is successful and discovers the way to end all suffering, we will lose all our power. We cannot harm people if he teaches them the truth. We must disturb his meditation, or else we will be doomed. Mara and his forces launched their full assault. They created terrifying storms, conjured bolts of lightning, and unleashed hideous, fearful shapes all around Siddhartha. But beneath the protective branches of the Bodhi tree, Siddhartha remained utterly calm, shielded by the immense force of his profound samadhi, right concentration, and vipassana, right mindfulness, insight. He was undisturbed. When fear and violence failed, Mara resorted to temptation. He called his daughters, personifications of sensual craving. My dear, he commanded, turn yourselves into beautiful and alluring women. Dance in front of him and disturb his meditation. But even Mara's most seductive daughters could not perturb Siddhartha's unwavering concentration. His meditation was as firm as a mighty stone, unshakable. Mara, defeated in his physical and tempting assaults, made one final, desperate attempt. He appeared as a wise old man, directly confronting Siddhartha. So you are the great Prince Siddhartha. You know very well that many holy people have failed to find the truth. But you think you will succeed? How foolish you are. You have just wasted your life. Mara's words aimed to sow seeds of profound doubt, visakicha, the ultimate mental obstacle. He challenged Siddhartha to show one witness to his worthiness. But these words did not deter Siddhartha. Silently, in a moment of ultimate triumph over ego and doubt, he lifted his right hand from his lap, reached forward, and gently touched the earth. This simple, yet profound, gesture, the Bhumisparsha mudra, meant that the earth itself was Siddhartha's witness. It signified that for countless lifetimes, he had appeared on this earth in various forms, practicing generosity, patience, love, and meditation on the truth, accumulating the immense merit, punya, and wisdom, prajna, that culminated in this moment. Mara was now truly and utterly defeated. Realizing his absolute defeat, he vanished. His power over Siddhartha, and by extension, over all who follow the path, shattered. Siddhartha was now all alone, free from all external and internal disturbances, his mind utterly still. Gradually, his concentration deepened further, and his understanding grew clearer than any crystal. He realized, with undeniable certainty, that desire, tanha, is the fundamental root cause for all suffering. He understood that once the heart is completely free of desire and hate, it would be filled with boundless love, which would bring true, lasting peace and happiness. Once Siddhartha gained this perfect, liberating understanding, his face began to glow brightly, emanating an otherworldly radiance. He had become fully enlightened. He was now the Buddha, the enlightened one, the awakened one, the one who knows. He had reached his ultimate goal. With a calm and peaceful smile, he arose from his meditation. When he opened his eyes, he saw the world filled with peace and happiness, a perfect reflection of his own inner state, seeing reality as it truly is. Buddhist insight. The 49 days of meditation under the Bodhi tree represent the culmination of Siddhartha's arduous journey. Demonstrating viriya, right effort, and samadhi, right concentration. Mara's attacks symbolize internal defilements, kleshas, and the final overcoming of ego. The Bhumisparsha mudra signifies the grounding of his enlightenment in reality, witnessed by the earth itself. The core realization, that desire is the root cause of all suffering, is the second noble truth, samudaya. Its cessation, leading to boundless love, peace, and happiness, is the third noble truth, nirodha. This moment is the ultimate transformation, giving birth to the Buddha as a teacher for all. The Dhamma cycle, turning the wheel of truth. I am filled with happiness. The newly awakened Buddha mused. My mind is free from all darkness and pain. It was so difficult for me to reach the end of suffering and become a Buddha. I had to work so hard for so long. When I see how blind and ignorant most people are, I wonder if there is anyone who can understand the truths I have discovered. How could I possibly teach them? Perhaps it is better for me to live the rest of my life in the forest, all alone, and enjoy the happiness of being a Buddha myself. At this moment of profound contemplation, divine beings, devas, recognizing the immense need of suffering humanity, appeared and pleaded with the Buddha, "Please do not forget us. We are the suffering beings of the world. We have been waiting for this moment ever since your birth. And even before that, please teach us. Unlike you, we are still suffering." The Buddha considered their plea with his vast wisdom. Who will be able to follow the teachings I have to offer? Who will try hard and long enough? It is true that our minds are enveloped in ignorance. But for some people, this ignorance is not so thick. They will be able to understand you. For their sake, please teach us the entire true path. The Buddha's boundless compassion, karuna, overcame his initial reluctance to teach such a profound and subtle truth. "Of course," he said, his voice resonating with deep resolve, "I shall teach. I shall do everything I can. However, they will have to help themselves. They have to be a light unto themselves." Initial students in the first sermon, turning the wheel of Dhamma. "Okay, from where shall I start to teach? Whom shall I teach first? Who shall be my first student?" The Buddha suddenly remembered Alara Kalama and Uddaka Ramapada, the two teachers he had met 6 years before. "I shall teach them." But then he saw, with his awakened vision, that they had already died and left this world. The Buddha then recalled the 5 men who had lived with him in the forest during his ascetic period. "Yes, I will teach them first. I can find them in the deer park near Benares. Let me go there and begin my work." Benares was very far away. But the Buddha, filled with radiant energy, walked slowly and mindfully through villages and farms. People who saw him were immediately attracted to him by his profound serenity and luminous radiance. Finally, he reached the deer park and found the 5 ascetics. He looked serenely divine, they whispered, recognizing his transformed presence. "He is Siddhartha. Come, let's meet him. We are honored to have you here." "Siddhartha, thanks for your hospitality." The Buddha replied, "I have discovered the truth and desired to teach you the truth. O Buddha, please teach us what you have learned so that we too may be awakened." They pleaded, eager to understand his transformation. The Buddha then delivered his first sermon, known as Turning the Wheel of the Dhamma, Dharmachakra Pravartana Sutta. He began by teaching the middle path as the right way to put an end to all sufferings. He then expounded the 4 noble truths. The noble truth of suffering, dukkha. The noble truth of the cause of suffering, samudaya, primarily craving, tanha. The noble truth of the end of suffering, nirodha, cessation of craving. The noble truth of the path to the end of suffering, magga, the noble eightfold path. We are impressed. Please teach us the path to perfect wisdom and happiness, and we shall be your followers," they exclaimed, deeply moved by his words. Thus, the Sangha, the community of monks, began with these first 5 disciples. Buddhist insight. The Buddha's initial hesitation to teach, a moment of profound introspection, reflects the depth of the Dhamma, which is deep, hard to see, hard to understand. His decision to teach, spurred by the Devas, highlights his immense karuna, compassion. The selection of the 5 ascetics, his former companions, was a strategic and compassionate choice, as they were already earnest seekers. The first sermon sets out the core framework of Buddhist philosophy and practice, establishing the middle way and the 4 noble truths as the direct path to liberation. This moment marks the official turning of the wheel of the Dhamma, initiating the spread of his teachings for the benefit of all beings. The Buddha's teachings in action, compassion, impermanence, and wisdom applied. The Buddha taught countless people across diverse backgrounds, adapting his profound message to their individual understanding and needs. He frequently used simple stories and parables to convey complex truths, making his teachings accessible and relatable to all. People from all walks of life visited him with their problems, seeking his wise counsel and finding solace and guidance. Let's explore some memorable examples of his teachings in action. 1. The parable of the mustard seed, learning impermanence through profound loss. Once, a deeply grieving woman named Siddhartha Gautama approached the Buddha. Her heart was shattered by the unimaginable loss of her only child. "Master," she pleaded, her voice trembling with despair, "I have lost my only child this morning. I want you to bring my son back to life. I hear that you are a great holy man. Please help me out of my suffering." The Buddha, with his boundless compassion, karuna, agreed to help, but with a unique condition. "Kisa, I will help you, but you have to bring me some mustard seeds from a house where no one has ever died." Kisa was instantly overjoyed, a flicker of desperate hope igniting in her eyes. "Oh, I'm really overjoyed. I will bring the seeds." Kisa went throughout the village, knocking on every single door, her heart filled with this fragile hope. At each house, she asked, "Sister, has anyone died in your house?" And at every single house, without exception, she received the same sorrowful answer, "Yes, my brother died 2 years ago," or "My mother passed away last year," or "My child died as an infant." Kisa received such heart-wrenching answers from every house in the village. "What will I do now? I'm really disappointed," she thought, as the profound futility of her task, and the universal nature of loss, slowly dawned on her. Siddhartha Gautama returned to the Buddha, empty-handed but with a new, profound understanding etched on her face. "Kisa," the Buddha asked gently, "what have you found? Where is your mustard seed? And where is your son?" Kisa replied, her voice now calm with acceptance, tears still in her eyes but no longer tears of desperate grief. "Buddha, today I have discovered that I am not the only one who has lost a loved one. I see how foolish I was to think I could have my son back. I have accepted his death, and this afternoon I buried him." "Kisa," the Buddha gently affirmed, his smile radiant with wisdom, "you have learned that death must come to everyone sooner or later. But if you learn the truth, you can live and die in happiness. Come, I shall teach you." The Buddha taught her the Dhamma, and soon she found more peace and happiness than she had ever known before. A peace born of acceptance, not avoidance. Lesson. This poignant parable teaches the profound truth of anicca, impermanence, and the universality of dukkha, suffering. Kisa's initial grief was intensified by her clinging to the idea of permanence in her son's life. The Buddha skillfully guided her to understand that loss is a shared human experience. By accepting the impermanence of all things, we can release the intense suffering caused by clinging, allowing natural grief to pass and cultivating equanimity, upekkha. 2. The unaccepted gift, handling anger with wisdom and non-reactivity. One day, while the Buddha was walking peacefully through a village, an angry and rude man came up to him and began insulting him with harsh words. "Oh, you are the one who is teaching everyone?" the man spat. "Yes, brother, you have no right to teach others. You are a fake yourself." The Buddha listened calmly, his serene demeanor completely undisturbed by the man's angry remarks. His composure was unshakable. "Tell me," the Buddha asked gently, his voice soft and compassionate, If you buy a gift for someone and that person does not take it, to whom does the gift belong? The man, puzzled by the seemingly unrelated question, thought for a moment. It would belong to me because I bought the gift. That is correct, the Buddha affirmed, nodding, and it is exactly the same with your anger. If you become angry with me and I do not get insulted, then the anger falls back on you. You are then the only one who becomes unhappy, not me. When you hate others, you yourself become unhappy, but when you love others, everyone is happy. The man was stunned into silence. His face, initially contorted with rage, slowly softened as the profound realization dawned upon him. You are right, he stammered. Please teach me the path of love. I want to become your follower. Of course, the Buddha smiled, his eyes twinkling with compassion. I shall teach anyone who truly wants to learn. Come with me. Lesson. This story is a masterclass in dealing with anger, dosa, and negativity. The Buddha's unaccepted gift metaphor is incredibly powerful and practical. It teaches us that we have the ultimate power to choose our response to external negativity. By consciously choosing not to react with anger or to take insults personally, we prevent the second arrow of suffering, a concept we've explored previously on this channel, from piercing us. This cultivates metta, loving kindness, and upekkha, equanimity, transforming potential conflict into an opportunity for peace and self-mastery. 3. Testing the teachings. The importance of personal experience and wise inquiry. Soon, the Buddha's teachings spread widely, attracting countless followers. One day, one of his devoted followers, perhaps carried away by enthusiasm, said to him, "O blessed one, you are certainly the greatest of all teachers who ever lived." The Buddha, with his characteristic humility and wisdom, gently corrected him. Tell me, have you met all the great teachers who have come into the world? No, of course not, the follower replied, a little surprised. And do you know all the teachers who are alive now or will be born in the future? The Buddha continued. No, I do not, the follower admitted, understanding the point. Then it is wrong to say that I am the greatest of all teachers. The Buddha gently stated, if you find my teachings helpful, the best thing to do is to practice them. Do not waste your energy praising me now. Now tell me, if you went to buy some precious gold, will you pay for it without testing it first? No, of course not. It might be fake, and then I will be wasting my money. The follower exclaimed, it is exactly the same way with my teachings. The Buddha explained, you should test the teaching yourself to see if they are true or not. If you find that they are true and helpful, then practice them. Also, do not criticize the teachings of others. There are many other great teachers in the world, and they all have their own way of helping people. So do not insult any of them. Think for yourselves, be kind to others and respect everyone. Lesson. This profound teaching emphasizes right view, samaditthi, and critical inquiry. The Buddha encouraged his followers not to accept his teachings out of blind faith or dogma, but to test them through personal experience and rigorous examination, just as one would test gold for purity. This promotes a practical, experiential approach to spirituality and actively discourages dogmatism, sectarianism, and intellectual arrogance. It highlights the importance of respect for diverse paths and the cultivation of wisdom, prajna, through direct, personal realization, not mere intellectual assent. Conclusion. The radiance of the Buddha's Dhamma, your path to peace. The stories of the Buddha's life, from his initial sheltered existence to his ultimate enlightenment and his boundless compassion, offer us profound insights into the nature of suffering and the practical path to liberation. His journey teaches us that true peace is not found by escaping the world, but by transforming our inner relationship to it. The Dhamma, his teachings, provides a clear, actionable roadmap for this transformation. Key learnings for your modern life. Dukkha and impermanence, anicca, suffering is inherent in our conditioned existence, and all things are impermanent. Acknowledging this reality is the first step. Resistance to impermanence amplifies suffering. Lesson. Embrace change. Accept that all things, pleasures, pains, people, are temporary. This frees you from rigid clinging and reduces the sting of loss. The middle way, Majjhima Patipada. Avoid extremes of indulgence and asceticism. Balance is key to well-being and spiritual progress. Lesson. Seek moderation in all aspects of life. Find a sustainable path that avoids burnout or stagnation. The power of non-attachment, upekkha, true freedom comes from not clinging to desires, outcomes, or even your sense of self. Lesson: learn to hold things lightly. Enjoy life's gifts without fear of losing them. Recognize that clinging to what is fleeting causes suffering. Compassion, karuna, and loving kindness, metta, these are potent forces for transformation, both within yourself and in your interactions with others. Lesson: meet anger with kindness, hatred with love, extend understanding and empathy, protecting your inner peace and transforming situations. The centrality of inner transformation. The external world provides challenges, but the true source of peace, or suffering, lies within your own mind and how you choose to perceive and react. Lesson: you are the ultimate architect of your inner world. Cultivate mindfulness and conscious focus on wholesome states. This empowers you to navigate life's inevitable noises without being disturbed. The Buddha's life is a timeless testament to the idea that anyone, regardless of their background or past deeds, can achieve enlightenment and profound peace. His journey from prince to awakened one, and his interactions with various individuals, illustrate the universal applicability of the Dhamma. Your life is your very own Buddha story. How will you choose to write it? Will you allow yourself to be passively tossed and turned by the wheel of life, caught in its ceaseless, chaotic spin? Or will you, like the Buddha, cultivate the wisdom to understand its workings, find your serene center, detached from its relentless turning, and experience true, liberating freedom, right here, right now? The choice, as always, is within your grasp. Thank you for watching, and may you always carry the profound peace and illuminating wisdom of these stories within your heart. Join our growing community by liking this video and subscribing to Buddha Story, where ancient wisdom beautifully meets modern mindfulness. What aspect of the Buddha's journey or these teachings resonates most deeply with your personal experience? Share your reflections and insights in the comments below. Until our next encounter, may your path be filled with profound peace, deep understanding, and the radiant light of your own awakening.